we're excited to bring you visionary voices up close. Listen in as we get up close and personal with members from the Women Leading Ed community. In this episode, we ask leaders, what is your advice for those looking to implement large-scale change in their district? Specifically, how do you bring parents along in that journey? Here's what they said.
As a mother myself, in general as a society, there's nothing that's more important than our children. And so there is no other line of work where your clients, so to speak, families are more passionate, and that's as it should be. And parents are every child's first teacher. And so we just have to acknowledge that because it's really central to the conversation, I think.
I think number one is listening to what our stakeholders, especially our parents, want for their students. I love to use surveys. I think using survey data then to help bring those conversations and highlight the data that says, this is what you're asking for. This is what you're telling me you want. Bringing those stakeholders to the table then and aligning what they've said they wanted with the goals of the district, and then developing a plan. But definitely by talking and listening and hearing what they have to say, and then taking that information and putting it together succinctly to align a plan to develop those goals so that we have benchmarks along the way to say, this is what we are expecting, how are we measuring that, and how do we get there?
Anytime there is some sort of change coming along that might be challenging, I think the first question that I ask is, how have we thought about centering families in the first place? So if there's a change, there's a reason for a change. And so how have we centered families, listened deeply, engaged in conversation to understand if whatever it is we're wanting to do is addressing the appropriate need in the first place? And that's going to come from our families. And I would add on our students. They will tell us. They're very candid in most cases. Then beyond that, once we've established that, it really is about making sure that there are enough spaces to gather that qualitative data alongside whatever the numbers are that we need, and to have ongoing communication loops to make sure that we are engaging with families who historically we have failed to effectively serve, or who historically have felt voiceless. Strategy to go out and engage all families rather than waiting for them to come to whatever system we have set up.
The first step is making sure we're leveling the playing field with understanding the why behind it, whether it's through data, whether it's through research. And it's very easy to jump ahead, but that never works out well in the end. So the more that you can do to bring people in and then hear their perspectives, because we also can get tunnel vision. We talk to each other in education all the time, but to hear the parents' perspective, anytime I've done that, it opens up my mind to thinking about, oh, I hadn't thought about that particular aspect of this change, and it helps us to make a better implementation plan. So I think we always have to remember that parents are our partners in this work.
Coming from a place of curiosity is really critical. Being open to revising your own thinking, right? And so something might have worked in one context. That doesn't mean it's going to work in another context. And so it's just as important of thinking about, like, how will this work for the parents, for the students, the greater community? You know, having that flexibility and thinking, really trying to come from a place of partnership. Because if information or decision making is only flowing one way, then it's a really missed opportunity.
So I think the most important piece around bringing parents and community along is to bring them along from the beginning. Start to have really honest, robust conversations early so that they know what to expect. And if there's a change, that there's a natural pivot that will happen. I think that often you have to talk to them very often and make sure that they're connected to the work, because it isn't easy and we need to all do it together. And they want to. Our parents really want to be involved, and they want to be connected because it's really about their children.
You have to communicate, because the groups of parents who are part of the advisory council or who are engaged, they're very small. And so you can't always count on that small group. You need to be able to also make sure that you're communicating with the larger community.
Let parents know the information they need to know so they feel empowered to participate. I think the second thing is give them actual questions to answer or things to do that you're going to use, not just committee meetings or have, town halls, but what is it that they can contribute to that will actually make the product better or make the initiative stronger? And then I think 3 is you have to connect it to their own kids. Everyone cares a lot about schools, but really you care about your own child. And so making that connection about why this matters to me, why this will help my own child is really, really important. Tell them exactly what their role is in that, and then saying this is how it makes your family, your child, your life better. I think if you have those 3 things, parents want their children to be successful. They want to do what's best for their kids, and making that connection is going to be critical for them.